Everybody out there, all my MDK gang members out there, go check out Cold TV. I checked it out myself. That shit's dope as hell.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to Pro Wrestling 60, where we talk about everything that happened this past week in the world of pro wrestling. And welcome to our 4th of July week extravaganza here. We're kicking it off here tonight on Cold TV with this special supersized edition of Pro Wrestling 60. I'm XLJ the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, this week hailing from the home of our country's namesake, Washington, D.C., Mr. B-Roll.
I got to tell you, Washington, D.C., it ain't all it's cracked up to be. That's all I've got to say.
Look like you're a little tired there, my friend.
I am a little tired.
D.C. got you wore out, as well as all this crazy wrestling action that's happened this past week.
I've been hitting the streets, shouting from the rooftops about Cold TV and that professional wrestling is back. I was wearing my Cold TV hat at doctor's appointment. And they were like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "It's a YouTube channel." What do they do? I was like, "It's my YouTube channel." that I do with my broski.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a lot to talk about here, and once again, we got a supersized episode here, so we better get right into it. So I'll let you hit us with that sweet line.
That's right. It ain't PW60, it's PW90 today, because the network is awesome. And
I know, right?
An overrun.
They're loading us up. Yeah, this overrun.
Yep. So
but they're also chomping at the bit for you to say.
might as well get right to it. To all the millions upon millions watching at home, the clock starts now.
Oh, there we go. And of course, our top story this week is Forbidden Door, which took place last night in Long Island, New York. Man, oh man, Forbidden Door is always a magical show, but this one, I think it was once again that shot in the arm that AEW so desperately needed. What were your thoughts on Forbidden Door?
From top to the bottom, a super solid show. Wasn't really a bad match on the card. Sorry, a fly just flew right by me. Yeah, it wasn't really a bad match on the card. And man, when they put their foot on the gas pedal, they put their foot on the gas pedal. For me, I want to say it was that when they did the Bryan Danielson Shingo Takagi match, I was like, oh geez, that's gonna be match of the night. And then it's next one, oh geez, that's gonna be match of the night. Oh geez, that's gonna be match of the night.
Yeah. As RJ City said on the pre-show, there really wasn't hardly any piss break matches on this show. Even 0 Hour too, which we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But of course, we got to stop and talk about that amazing main event, this dream matchup, which we knew it would be incredible. The confrontation for the AEW World Championship between Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. First and foremost, did this live up to the hype in your mind? Were you satisfied with this matchup?
I mean, I think
I want to know why.
I think it definitely lived up to the hype because, we gone on record. I've said I'm a huge Ospreay fan, right? But I didn't I didn't want him to win the belt here, which that sounds crazy because you're like, well, if you're a fan of him, you should want him to have the world title. But just this match, like, it had me convinced of all those like false finishes. Like, I was like, there's no way Swerve's winning this. Like, there were times where I'm like if it's not over there, like, there's no way Swerve is winning. Like, and it was just beautiful storytelling with the Swerve using the hidden blade. It was just, man.
The ref getting knocked out, the Don Callis' involvement, Osprey not wanting to use the screwdriver. Yeah, this had everything about it. Felt like a big fight feel. Everything down to the entrances at the beginning. Loved Osprey's tribute to Hayabusa. Yeah, and then of course,
We roll high, no lie, you know it. Bullard.
yeah, the gear looks sick too for both these guys. These guys killed it. Like we talked about this on our prediction show. I mean, this right here is like, this is AEW's like future, is these two guys between Swerve and Will Ospreay. I look for them to have many more matches on down the road in AEW. It's going to be an awesome rivalry. Dare I say, I think it's a rivalry that has the potential that could be one of the all-time great rivalries that we talk about, like in the same sentence and breath as like say a Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Honestly, because these guys are just so evenly matched and so well skilled and so versatile. Like you say, the story that was told in this matchup was amazing. Absolutely loved every bit of it. It was an incredible matchup. And of course, you all know, as if there was any doubt, it was our match of the week here on PW60. Had to be the encounter between Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, man. Like, this is a match I think we'll be talking about years to come. I don't know if it is the match of the year, but it's definitely an early candidate for one of the matches of the year. Wouldn't you say?
I mean, definitely. When you take out, if you take out the MCU edition of WWE WrestleMania 40 main event,
Yeah, yeah. From
like,
a physically, like in ring, physicality. Yeah, this is damn. And Ospreay always does this, man. It's Ospreay. Ospreay is, whether you love him or hate him, right now he is pound for pound the best in-ring performer in pro wrestling. Like, you talk about
hands
the
down.
best bout
Hands
machine,
down.
Kenny. Like, I mean, it's Ospreay now, man. Ospreay's the guy. Like, you can't deny him. I mean, I can't even count how many of his matches have been matches of the week here on PW60 the past, well, ever since the show was created. You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm like trying to go back and think. Even since the beginning of this year, it would be an interesting stat to see.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he's in double digits for just this year.
Oh, I'd say easily. But man, so let me ask you this: where does Will Ospreay go from here now?
I don't know.
As I mean, obviously he's got a big matchup this Wednesday on Dynamite against Daniel Garcia, for that international title. Obviously we're coming up. The next pay-per-view for AEW is going to be All In. You know, he's going to have a huge involvement in that.
Well, I say I don't know, but ultimately, I know where I ultimately want it to get somehow, some way. I just don't know how they're going to do it exactly. But
okay.
it's him and him JF.
Yeah,
that's where we need to get to.
That makes sense. I could see that. But nonetheless, we are pretty much now on the road to All In. But man, oh man, this matchup was incredible. But we got so much more to talk about Forbidden Door, man, because Forbidden Door, like we say, was a home run for AEW. And yes, Tetsuya Naito is once again your IWGP champion. Y'all know I'm a Naito mark. I'll be the first to admit it. I love Naito. Picks up a clean win against Jon Moxley to win back his IWGP Championship. I feel like a lot of the crowd was kind of just like, couldn't believe that Naito beat Moxley. I don't know if that's because like maybe the crowd wasn't as familiar with Naito's work, or the fact that it's like Jon Moxley's like this unbeatable, unstoppable force. But Naito did it, man. He did it at Forbidden Door. Huge win for Naito. Now going back to New Japan to be a part of the G1 Climax. I think it's well deserved. We did our prediction show and we talked about this, and we're really just thinking like, you know, the Naito was going to be the guy to bring that belt back home to New Japan, and he did. What'd you make of this matchup?
Okay. This match was what I expected it to be, if that makes sense. It doesn't mean it was bad. But it was about what I expected it to be, and I think the end result was what was best for both companies at the end of the day.
I think so. I mean, Mox got a run with the IWGP title, had a couple defenses. I mean, yeah, I think it was like you scratch my back, I scratch your type of deal. I mean, it worked. Everybody wins. So, and who's the biggest winners at the end of the day? Us. Oh. And I think now this too, man. Here's the thing: if you didn't know who Tetsuya Naito is, you sure as hell know who he is now, because man, this is the guy that beat Mox like on an AEW show 1-on-1 clean. So I think it's gonna have a lot of that the fan base that didn't know about Naito are like, okay, I respect this guy.
Yeah, and it's should. Like you should, because he is Kilo.
The ungovernable one, indeed.
But I mean, and two, you can't have LIJ lose every single match on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's right.
If I would have lost, they wouldn't have had a win.
Yeah, and that would have made me sad because I'm a huge LIJ fan. But you talk about stars becoming household names, man. Let's talk about this next one. Mercedes Moné against Stephanie Fakur, who put the wrestling world on notice last night that Stephanie Fakur may very well be, pound for pound, the best women's wrestler in the world today. I mean, this match was incredible. If it wasn't for the Ospreay Strickland match, this would easily be our match of the night, our match of the week here in PW60. Because this match was incredible. I would safely say I think this is Mercedes' best one-on-one matchup she's had since she wrestled Bianca at WrestleMania 30. What was that? 37 in the main event. I think. I mean, this match was awesome. Like there was times where I was like, "Holy shit, Stephanie Fakur is actually going to win this matchup, man." It was a awe-inspiring match. I think a career-making matchup for Stephanie Fakur. And yes, Mercedes Moné has picked up the win and is the double champion. But we talk about it constantly in the world of pro wrestling. You know, Mercedes Moné got over or went over, but Stephanie Fakur got over. What do you think of this title for title matchup?
I'm gonna have to echo your sentiments exactly. I if it wasn't for the Ospreay Swerve match, this easily would have been match of the week. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think when they had the original pay-per-view, when they originally clowned the New Japan Strong, like I was like super impressed because they had the opening round matchup before it went to Willow and Mercedes in like the finals for the belt. And we all know what happened there, but I mean, yeah, super impressed. And but I really want to talk about what happened after this match.
Well, we'll talk about that, but we got to give her flowers because this week, our wrestler of the week this week is Stephanie Fakur, because I think, like I say, she is now going to become a household name, and it's going to be on everybody's dream list of signing her whenever her contract's up with CMLL. But like you said, there's a little bit of aftermath that happened after this. The doctor will see you now, baby. Yes, Britt Baker finally making her triumphant return to AEW to a massive pop. Man, was this so needed for that women's division, for one of the originals to come back home. How happy are you excited to see Britt Baker?
Very, very happy. I mean, probably not as happy as you, though, because you've been having some tooth pain recently. So you needed a good dentist. So there you go.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I mean, this was a shot in the arm that like I say, that women's division so desperately needed. So happy to see her back in AEW, man. Looking like she's going to be starting off with a feud with Mercedes Moné. So that's interesting. Go ahead and take my money now. But damn it, I need Britt to win that feud. I'm just saying. But it makes for a very compelling matchup because here you have essentially an original against, you know, somebody who's been brought in, somebody who is, we all know, from the WWE. So I think this is, I mean, the story writes itself for this matchup. And I mean, Britt Baker, she's so damn talented, man. She's like one of the best in the world today. And Mercedes Moné going up against her, man. You've got arguably like two of maybe the best women's wrestlers in the world today.
Yeah, and I mean, Britt's gone on record saying like that's one of her dream matches. So let's saddle up. I think All In's a pretty good time for this to happen.
But we did find out, like Mercedes, or I'm sorry, Britt, they talked to her in like a backstage segment. She said she had a lot she wanted to talk about, but she's going to save it for Dynamite this Wednesday. Which Dynamite's going to be a loaded show, man, especially following up from Forbidden Door. So I cannot wait to hear what Britt Baker has got to say to the wrestling world, man. Speaking of the ladies, man, this was the matchup going into this show I was most excited to see, and I got to say it did not disappoint. The AEW Women's Championship matchup between one Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. Of course, Mariah May conflicted. I mean, the story wrote itself. This love triangle, if you will, between these three. Mina looked fucking awesome in this, man. Like this matchup to me was like, okay, this felt like a Stardom matchup. Like this is another thing. It just puts the world on notice and being like, okay, I need to go check out Stardom Wrestling, especially if you're a fan of women's wrestling, because Stardom Wrestling is freaking amazing. And this matchup was awesome, from the story to the in-ring to the aftermath. Everything about this matchup was chef's kiss. And this is another one. If it wasn't for the Swerve and Ospreay, and if it wasn't for Mercedes and Stephanie Fakur, this could have easily been our match of the week as well, man. What do you think of this AEW Women's Championship encounter?
Trying to think of like how timeless Toni Storm would describe this. It was exquisite. It was,
yeah, it really was.
Many think it was everything you hoped it would be. Poor Mariah May getting caught in the middle, and then we had a happy ending though, I guess, because you know we all sealed it with a kiss. Sealed with a kiss. Sealed with a kiss.
Yeah, I love it. I think too. We talked about Stephanie Fakur. If you all didn't know who Mina Shirakawa is, you know who she is now. And I said this on a prediction show. I feel like she is going to be, whenever her contract's up with Stardom, every North American company is going to try to sign her. And to me, what's special about her, she's one of a very few Japanese performers who connects with an American audience like that. She reminds me a lot of when Shinsuke Nakamura came over here. You just see her and it's like, yeah, that's a license to print money right there. So charismatic, so skilled in the ring, and a beautiful, beautiful young lady. So I think we're going to be seeing more of Mina Shirakawa here in the very near future, and I'm for that. Let me just say that. So I love me some Mina. Well, let's also talk about the ladder match that took place at Forbidden Door to crown a new TNT champion. This is about it like any other ladder match. You know, it was a car crash. There were some crazy spots. I thought your boy Dante got hurt again, man. That looked pretty scary there for a minute.
Yeah, Can we not even like tease it? Can we not even joke about it? Like,
Can we not even put
not
him in a
funny.
ladder match? Just stay away from him, kid. Takeshka looked like $1 million in this too, man. It's crazy. That crowd was super into it. But no shocker, our new TNT champion was in fact one Jack Perry. As Jack Perry won this matchup and is your new TNT champion. Like I say, I'm not really shocked that that's what happened in this one. We all thought that going into it. But this was a solid matchup. I mean, it was a fun matchup on a fun card. B-roll, what'd you think of this one? Can you hear me? We're live, pal. Oh, he's muted. Okay, we'll get his thoughts here in a minute. So, but like I say, this was a car crash of a matchup, but they always are going into these multi-man ladder matches. You just never know what you're gonna get. So, let's talk about this. We got Bryan Danielson meeting Shingo Takagi in the Owen Hart matchup here, the Owen Hart final. Or no, I'm sorry, not the final, in the tournament. We'll try to get B-roll in here too. Sorry, I'm trying to produce and do this at the same time. But yeah, so we got Shingo Takagi going up against Bryan Danielson in the kicking off the Owen Hart tournament. And this Owen Hart tournament, man, it's Danielson's really wanting to win this thing because remember, you get a shot at the AEW World Championship at All In. This is a physical matchup, man, like we knew it would be. Just two guys beating the hell out of each other. I thought, I guess. Oh, we got B-roll back. You all right, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, my headset died apparently, so we're live now. We're live.
That's all right. So we're just talking about the Owen Hart first round matchup here with Danielson and Shingo Takagi. What did you think of what did you like this matchup? Because you mentioned here at the early, it started off, this was like kind of the first big matchup of the night where you're like, oh shit, that's match of the night.
Yeah, I mean, I remember thinking like during this match and like after this match was over, it was like, okay, like, foot on the gas pedal. It's like, here we go. And this match, honestly, I would say this match maybe over delivered a little bit for me. Just because, not because I thought it would be a bad match, but it did end up being better than I thought it would, honestly.
Yeah, I loved it, man. It was everything I thought it could be and more. Of course, Danielson picking up the win, advancing into the Owen Hart tournament. Just another amazing matchup on this incredible show, man. And now Danielson will meet Pac in the semifinals, and that's going to be a hell of a matchup. That's this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite. So much stuff to look forward to this Wednesday on Dynamite, man. All right, let's talk about this one. Your opening contest, we got to see MJF go up against Hinchero, which I know I butchered that, so it is what it is. Fun opener, different type of matchup for MJF. I really like this as the opener, and the crowd was hot for it too. I thought this was the right choice to open the show too. What'd you think of MJF picking up the win here in Long Island?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the way the announcers were talking and like they were saying how he wasn't taking his opponent seriously, I was like, maybe they are going to have him lose here, and like maybe we're going to go down a spiral path of MJF or something. But I think ultimately right call, have the hometown boy pick up the win, get the crowd hot at the very beginning. I would say
another thing. Yeah, if you didn't know who Hechicero was before, you know him now.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mission accomplished, because they did that a lot on this pay-per-view, I think. So it truly felt like a forbidden door too, with all these companies involved, and we've got something else we're going to talk about here in a minute too. But speaking of incredible matchups, man, Orange Cassidy against Zack Sabre Jr. just a clash of styles, but man, the styles gel so well together. CSJ just doing what CSJ does and pretty much essentially turning Orange Cassidy into a pretzel, more or less. Or dare we say he squeezed all the juice out of that orange at the end of this matchup.
Oh,
And Orange looked great in this too, man. Orange is such a good wrestler. I think he is such an underappreciated, underrated wrestler, man. He can go work virtually any style. He still gets his own stuff in. Um, this reminded me a lot of, because we were there for it. Remember Will Ospreay going up against Orange Cassidy at the first Forbidden Door? That's kind of what this matchup felt like. Just a different pace and different style for sure. What'd you think of Orange Cassidy against Zack Sabre Jr.?
I think I will go on the record. This may be my favorite Orange Cassidy match.
Really? That's interesting. Why do you say that?
And I think it's simply because this match just shows how darn good he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This just highlights a different style of wrestling that he can work and put on a hell of a matchup. Of course, it does help that he's got like arguably the best technical wrestler in the world to go against. But Zack Sabre Jr. picking up the win though, and a big win for him because now, here in about 3 weeks, he's gonna start his run in the G1 Climax, and I think a lot of people got him favored to win the whole thing, and I wouldn't be shocked if he did pull off the win and win the G1. So, but this match was awesome, man. This was everything we thought it could be and more. And like I say, there really wasn't a disappointing matchup on this show. And we had some other matches, some multi-man matches here in this Forbidden Door. Big 6-man or trios match as we had the Elite go up against the Acclaimed and Scissor Ace himself, one Hiroshi Tanahashi. EVPs against your president of New Japan. This was a fun matchup. Like, by the way, how many times did Max Caster say bitch in his rap? Do you know?
I've been on a thing lately, like with Max Caster and his raps, I'm like, is he trying to get fired? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I think it's all part of the story with the EVPs and just trying to fan the flame, basically is what I think is going on there.
Yeah, but Okada, and it was great to see Okada and Tanahashi renew their rivalry once again. And of course, Okada hits the Rainmaker, picks up the win for his team as the Elite do defeat the Acclaimed and Tanahashi. And we know the Acclaimed have got a tag team title shot on down the line against the Young Bucks. And then also in 6-man action or trios action, we got to see the tandem or the trios team of Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata go up against the Learning Trees, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Jeff Cobb. And Jeff Cobb, honestly, for me, he made this matchup interesting to me because I'm not gonna lie, like on paper, I was just kind of like, eh. What do you think of Jericho at the beginning of this? Just like pretty much acknowledging the crowd's like, yep, I'm never gonna retire, even though you all want me to retire. I'm never gonna retire.
With the gimmick, like it fits perfectly. Like, I'm never gonna retire. Oh, come on, I'm from here or whatever. Like, thanks, guys. It's the thanks guys that gets me every time, honestly. But let's talk about the elephant, or should I say elephants in the room. How badly do you want to see a Samoa Joe, Jeff Cobb one-on-one matchup now?
The definition of big meaty men slap of meat, man. And arguably maybe the two most successful Samoan wrestlers outside of the Anoa'i family, I would say, are these two guys. So yes, take my money now. I want to see this matchup. Yeah, this is a license to print money, dude. And we just got teased a little bit at Forbidden Door, man. But I agree. Also, too, I thought it was kind of neat that Hook was the one who picked up the W by pinning Jericho and beating Jericho with his own move, the Judas effect. So we'll see where that leads to on down the road. But we mentioned Zero Hour, man, and Zero Hour was a loaded pre-show. Let's talk about that epic trios match, man. That matchup between the freaking Lucha Brothers teaming up with Mystico against LIJ. Holy shit! What'd you think of that trios match?
I mean, you knew some crazy stuff was going to be popping off in that match, but man, when Phoenix like assisted Mystico on like a quadruple spin flippy dippy thingy, totally butchered that, but I know you know what I'm talking about, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I was blown away by that. The fact that that was on like the pre-show essentially, but like what a way to kind of get the crowd going, man. Had 5 total matches on the pre-show too. Is like an additional one was Serpentico going up against Kyle Fletcher. Nice little one to kind of get things going. Got to see how
apparently Kyle Fletcher just is going to hate everybody in a luchador mask since he lost his title.
Yeah, it's a given. House of Black winning the 4-corner tag team matchup. I love the matchup with Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe against Tam Nakadao and Willow Nightingale. I love the storytelling there. Of course, Willow and Tam picking up the win there. And of course, Mariah May defeating Saraya in an Owen Hart tournament matchup. And she now will advance to meet Hikaru Shida in the semifinals. So, 0 Hour, a lot was going on, man. I would safely say I think this may be my favorite AEW like pre-show that I can think of, man. There wasn't like a dull moment, man. You think about Forbidden Door, there was a total of 15 matches on the night, which that's a lot. It's asking a lot from wrestling fans, especially old fucks like me. But I loved every minute of it. It was a solid show. And to me, this year, it truly felt like a Forbidden Door with not only New Japan and AEW being involved, but also CMLL as well as Stardom being involved. But speaking of which, there was a huge announcement made at Forbidden Door from New Japan Pro Wrestling, as it was announced that New Japan Pro Wrestling will host Wrestle Dynasty on January the 5th of next year, which, if you know, that is the day after Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest show of the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And this show will be held inside the Tokyo Dome. But this show is really going to be special because it is going to have AEW's involved, CMLL's involved, Ring of Honor is going to be involved, Stardom's going to be involved. It's going to be a who's who in the wrestling world is going to be involved in this tremendous event that'll take place after New Japan's biggest event of the year. Man, I just need to bite the bullet and go to Japan around January. I need to go to Wrestle Kingdom and I need to see this show because this show is going to be freaking awesome, dude. But New Japan is cooking on all cylinders. But overall, Forbidden Door was a phenomenal night, an incredible set of matches. But I can tell you there were some other big news items that happened this weekend in the world of pro wrestling, and we got to talk about this next. Let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown coming to you from Madison Square Garden. And holy shit, this may be like the most cinematic moment since WrestleMania 40 that WWE has had, because the wise man is no longer with the bloodline, man. Like that pop when they went to Paul Heyman, when Solo asked him to acknowledge him, and how he said, Solo, I love you, but you are not my tribal chief. That response in Madison Square Garden was up there when like Sami Zayn turned on Roman, you know, just like such a huge pop. And then aftermath of just dismantling Paul and putting him through that table. And of course, we had Jacob Fatu put the tribal, I forget what the terminology is for it, the lay or whatever you want to call it, over Solo to indicate that he is now the tribal chief. Like, this accomplished so much. Like, first of all, Paul Heyman is a genius. I mean, we've said that on this show before, where you love the man, hate the man, whatever. Like, the man can tell stories like no other. I mean, this had been so well told over the past, ever since WrestleMania, really, with Paul just feeling uncomfortable with this new bloodline and Solo making these bodacious calls. And then the facial expressions of Paul Heyman, like him, just the little nuances, not shaving, the bloodshot eyes, looking like he hadn't slept in weeks. Man, God, was this good? What'd you make of this this insane segment on SmackDown?
Oh man, I feel like I just got home from school. Mom's got cookies in the ovens because man, this was freaking. They were cooking here. Oh my! First off, I mean, shout out to Paul taking some bumps.
Yeah, he got his ass whooped. Yeah,
But
this was this is the thing.
You know what I keep going back to, honestly?
What's that?
You remember when at like the one press conference, I think it was Paul Heyman said, like, we're not even he made the baseball reference, right?
We're like in the third quarter period or something like that.
Yeah, we're only in like the third inning of this bloodline story.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And like a lot of flack came to that. It was like, oh, come on, man, Cody's gonna finish his story, yada yada yada. Like, we gotta get the title off Roman, yada yada yada. But now it all makes sense.
Here's the thing: people were talking about they were sick of Roman. What do people want the most now? They want Roman back, man.
No kidding.
I mean, that just goes to show you like how amazing this story has been, man. And it's like you said, like, you know, Cody finishing the story. That was the end of an epic chapter. But now we're on here now to I don't know whatever phase you want to call it in this bloodline story. But Paul Heyman single-handedly made this new bloodline the most dangerous faction in all of WWE and pro wrestling, with his work that he's done over the past couple months than any other wrestler or any other talent I think could have done. I mean, tip of the hat to you, good sir. This like, now it's like, okay, I was kind of like with Solo as the leader or whatever, you know, it's kind of like, okay, this just doesn't, I don't know, it's okay, but it's not like, I don't know, what knocking my socks off. But now, if we're getting Solo against Cody at SummerSlam, I want to see that, because I want to see where we're going next with this bloodline, because this bloodline is a group of men you do not want to mess with, man. But this being the closing segment on SmackDown from Madison Square Garden, like, was so apropos, especially for Paul too. The fact that, like, you think of like his history in wrestling, you know, and he used to sneak into the garden to like take pictures and do this and that, and now he like essentially, you know, in a huge segment, and I mean, you could even say like the main event of SmackDown, right? So yeah, everything about this was incredible. And I'm telling you, man, I want to see what the hell's going to happen next with this bloodline, because this is going to be must-see TV, especially going into Money in the Bank. Well, speaking of going into Money in the Bank, let's talk about the rest of Friday Night SmackDown, coming to you from Madison Square Garden. It was Tiffy time, as Tiffany Stratton would win her Money in the Bank qualifier match, as she now qualifies for the Ladies Money in the Bank. Also, Naomi would win her triple threat match, she defeated SmackDown's newest star, Blair Davenport, and Indy Hartwell, to advance on to Money in the Bank. Of course, you had the opening segment there with Cody and KO and Randy Orton going up against the Bloodline. But let's also talk about that men's three-way to determine who would go on to Money in the Bank, with Logan Paul going up against Santos Escobar and LA Knight getting the win. But let's talk about something that strikes close to home to us, my friend. The confrontation between one Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. It's like we're reliving the 90s here again. I could have swore it's like I'm watching Reggie Miller go at it with John Starks, man. It's like, whoo, baby. And how ironic the fact that Raw was in Indianapolis, earlier this week. And of course, the next show would be in Madison Square Garden. Of course, if you're not a big sports fan or know, the New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers, of course, Jalen Brunson plays for the Knicks. Tyrese plays for us, the Indiana Pacers. Because, yes, the Indiana Pacers is B-roll nice team, if you didn't know that by now. But just the fact that this is like in like our realm of wrestling, and it's like we talked about it. This like that series got us back into watching the NBA. Like that Knicks Pacers series was incredible this year. Were you just like just like, oh my god, I love this so much when you saw this, because now it's like now they're in wrestling.
Yeah, it's like two worlds colliding, right? I kind of hate that our boys, kind of being the heel, but
I know, right? That's a little bit of a bummer, but
he'll wise up. He'll learn that Logan Paul is not to be trusted or something like that, but he does make a good hydration drink. You're like, where's my prime?
There it is. I knew I had one around here. Yes, he does make a damn good drink, but okay. Yeah. Let me get bold. Do you think, a la WCW in the late 90s there, Bash the Beach 98, you had the Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone rivalry in a tag match.
Mm-hmm.
Could we see these two guys step in the squared circle, you think?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I would kind of love it if they did, but still. And it makes me excited for the NBA season next year when the Pacers and the Knicks go at it, because this is just the start of what's going to be the next evolution of their rivalry too. And it's just so cool for us that it's like spilled out into the world of pro wrestling too. So it's a win-win for everybody. I think it's a huge win for the NBA too. Because I mean, people are going to be tuning in. They're going to want to see that rivalry with the Knicks and the Pacers, man. I guarantee you that's going to get some ratings, man. Now we just need to see if we can get Caitlin Clark to participate in the Royal Rumble next year. But anyways, hey, let's talk about the end of Friday Night SmackDown as they went off the air, of course, in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. And Cody Rhodes returning to MSG for the first time since winning his WWE Championship. And as we all know, Cody's dad, Dusty, he talked about that in that promo when he came back from into the WWE, of wanting to win that WWE Championship and present it to his father. So here he kind of got to recreate that moment with the original WWF Championship. This was pretty cool, man. I just, here's the thing. With all the stuff that Cody does, I just don't understand. How could anybody hate Cody Rhodes? I just don't get it, man. Like, what is there you to not love about Cody Rhodes, man? His passion, like what he does for fans, and it's cool for him to get moments like this. The guy truly, truly deserves it. So this was a pretty cool moment. What'd you think of Cody after SmackDown?
I honestly just love this, and if I could, I will. There you freaking go, Bully Ray. I'm sick and tired for the longest time of him going on and on about Cody needs to finish his story.
It's got to be Gordon.
And Matt, it's going to be the Gordon. It's going to be the Gordon. Well, shut up, Bully Ray. Here you go. I hope you put this as your screensaver on your phone, your laptop, and I'm going to send you a photo frame for you to put on your nightstand. Here you go.
Maybe you'll even autograph it. Well, we're talking about Friday Night SmackDown, and it's come the time in the show where we need to go to our Tribal Queen Bree for our Tribal Queen tidbit of the week because she's got a lot to say about Friday night's tag team champions. So check this out.
Well, hey, hi, hello, everybody. It's your Tribal Queen Bree with the Tribal Queen tidbit of the week. And I want to talk about my favorite tag team that may be breaking up in the foreseeable future, A-Town Down Under. So this upcoming Friday on SmackDown, it's going to be DIY versus A-Town Down Under. And I was a little upset that they weren't featured on this week's SmackDown, but it's all good. But I have a feeling that DIY is going to win the titles, and we will see the downfall of A-Town Down Under, and Grayson Waller is going to turn on my guy, Austin Theory. But then I think it's going to catapult Theory into a babyface run, and at least I hope so. But who knows what happens. Let's see what Paul's cooking up. Just like what I'm cooking up right now. And there's your Tribal Queen tidbit of the week.
I smell what you're cooking, Bree. What I really want to know what was in that pan you was cooking, man. Was it steak? Was it eggs?
I'm getting some tacos.
Tacos? You use tacos? I don't know. There's a lot of sizzle to that. Oh, maybe some fajitas. Nonetheless, we thank you, Bree, for your Tribal Queen tidbit. I think she's right, man. I think A-Town Down and Grayson Waller are about to split. And hey, man, that may propel A-Town Down to a babyface run. Who knows? Well, let's talk about let's talk about Monday Night Raw this past week, which was in our hometown of Indianapolis. This was an awesome show. This is, as those kids would say, this was a banger of a show. Of course, kicking it off with Drew McIntyre. Of course, we know he'll be in a Money in the Bank qualifier tonight here on Monday Night Raw. Ludwig Kaiser, man, I hope he's okay because he got the shit kicked out of him thanks to between Braun Breaker and Sheamus, man. Yikes. We also got to see your Money in the Bank qualifier as Laya Valkyria would qualify for the female Money in the Bank. Let's talk about the stuff going on with Liv Morgan and Dom, man, as that continued on this show. And man, oh man, Liv is like, is she systematically like setting up and pulling down the Judgment Day? Because I mean, she got them the tag team title shot. Of course, Finn Balor and JD McDonough picking up the win and are your new WWE World Tag Team Champions once again. Which, by the way, I think that's really cool too that JD and Finn won them because with JD training under Finn Balor. So I thought that was a pretty cool moment, man. But I don't know, man. What do you think's going to happen? Because going into Raw this week, we know we're getting Liv against Selena Vega for the women's title, and of course, Dirty Dom is taking on his deadbeat dad, Rey Mysterio, tonight on Monday Night Raw. Do you think maybe like they could finally like? Do you think they'll become official yet, bro?
I don't know, but I mean, there's a lot of people theorizing that Finn and Liv have been working together the whole time, and
yeah,
a lot of people thinking that, yeah. But
yeah, I don't.
Hey, Finn did take the hotel key.
I was getting ready to say that. Like, does he still got the hotel key? What's going on there? Also, an incredible matchup with Karrion Kross going up against Kofi Kingston, which I think what was the stat? He held up I think he's beaten 7 former world champions now, too. So kudos to him on that, picking up a big win. Also, man, oh man, the world was talking and buzzing. The Wyatt Six. What about that freaking segment with Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas, man? Oh my gosh. That was good. That was like from the heart, dude. Like, I'm so invested in this Wyatt Six. Like, I can't wait to see what they do like week to week, man. But that right there, that last week was just like, I felt like if you didn't think before, like Bo Dallas or Uncle Howdy, or you know, Taylor Rotunda, whatever you want to call him, could be a top guy or be a guy that you are invested in, that proved it to me. Like, that was just such an insanely good segment. What'd you make of that segment?
it is weird, and I think I said this with the debuts too. It's weird to say something that's kind of like so eerie and creepy that it was beautiful, right?
Mhm.
But it was perfect. Like, you have you see them talking, right? And it's it's very clear that, like, if you like a therapy session is happening, more so or less. And I feel like what this is like the inner turmoil. And I feel like it's Bo, or like letting Uncle Howdy in, and like letting Uncle Howdy take control. And then, like, at the end where they like finally reveal that you can tell that they're in the Firefly Funhouse.
Oh, I know, that was so cool.
And I'm hoping that we get, like, at some point, maybe it's Uncle Howdy talking to like each character one on one.
I could see that. Hey, we'll probably find out tonight with the next installment of this Wyatt Six saga on Monday Night Raw, man. So it's gonna be interesting to see, man. But both Raw and SmackDown this week were incredible. Of course, going into Money in the Bank, and we got a loaded Money in the Bank coming up this Saturday. I can't believe it's already this Saturday, man. But we do got a men and a women's qualifier tonight on Monday Night Raw, so we'll find out who will join those competitors in the Money in the Bank. Now, on the men's side, we do know we got Chad Gable, Jey Uso, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, and a sixth person to join. Drew McIntyre is probably going to be it. And then on the ladies' side, we do got Lia Valkyria, Chelsea Green, Naomi, Io Sky, and of course Tiffany Stratton. Also, big 6-man tag coming up at Money in the Bank, as we're going to see the Bloodline go up against the super tandem of Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes. This could be a fun one too. The Intercontinental title is going to be on the line as Sami Zayn defends against Braun Breaker, which I don't know. I think Sami may have bitten off a little more than he can chew in this matchup, man. And of course, we've got Damian Priest putting that world title on the line against Seth Rollins. So much is on the line in this matchup now, too. More than just the world title, because remember, if Priest loses, he will split away from the Judgment Day. So, Money in the Bank is looking like a freaking solid show, man. Cannot wait. Well, it's come that time of the show. Let's go to our good friend Sienna with some advice for us wrestling fans.
Honestly, I really don't get some of the wrestling fans that only concern about is the numbers from the companies. And by numbers, I'm talking about is the attendance, ticket sales, ratings, merch sales from the company, or anything that plays a factor with the numbers. It's like it's set into this whole competition alike. And when wrestling fans talking about like observing the numbers from each of the company, like if they're performing really well with like a high number, oh, they win. Or if they're doing poorly, like on the ratings or sales or anything, it's like, oh, they're not doing well, or they're going to be done, or whichever the case would be. It's like, it's really insane that these numbers play this whole factor in the wrestling fandom, that it creates more of this toxicity within the wrestling community. Like, the only thing that should be concerned with the numbers would be is just the company themselves, especially like, with the networks and the arenas and everything in particular. They should be concerned about the numbers, not the fans that should be concerned about the numbers. All I can say to it is that leave the numbers alone to the wrestling companies and other parties. And as a wrestling fan, just worry about like enjoying watching wrestling or anything that is related to like what you're watching as a fan. That's all I gotta say, y'all.
Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Just enjoy wrestling, for crying out loud, man. Don't pay so much attention to the numbers. We'll get B-roll back here in a second. But WWE is cooking. They're on fire. We got to talk about NXT from this past Tuesday night. A fun show. Of course, Chase U is now your number one contenders for the World Tag Team titles, which I am so excited for. We got Ethan Page kind of throwing his weight around again, but not having any of it. But Ethan Page will be involved in the next Heat Wave show in the main event, which we'll talk about that here in a minute. We also have Wesley go up against Joe Coffey. Sol Ruka defeated Ariana Grace to become your new number one contender for the North American title. And man, oh man, freaking you had Lola Fice laying out Roxanne Perez and claiming she's going to be the next NXT Women's Champion. Of course, we got to see Trick Williams go up against Shawn Spears. NXT killing it again. Chef Michaels, whether you love him or hate him, man, he cooks up a damn good meal every Tuesday night. I mentioned Heat Wave. Heat Wave also coming up this weekend, too, to take place in Toronto the day after Money in the Bank. And it's looking to be a damn solid show.
It's going to be a hot one.
It's going to be a hot one. Yes, indeed, man. We have got all sorts of championships on the line galore. Of course, your women's NXT champions is going to be up for grabs as Roxanne Perez defends against Lola Fice. That's going to be a tough one, man. I don't know if Roxanne's going to walk out the champion after this because Lola Fice is El Fuego right now, my friend. I don't know if anybody could stop her. And then it's going to be an amazing matchup for that NXT North American Women's Championship as Sol Ruka is going to challenge for it. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking, I'm showing I'm pulling an old fart moment. I can't think of the girl's name. Your
Kalani Jordan.
Kalani Jordan. Thank you. I wanted to call her Lalani Kai, which I'm showing my age there. If you know, you know. And Oba Femi will defend the NXT North American Championship against Wes Lee. That should be a fun one, but I'm sorry. I think Wes Lee is about to get murdered. I'm just saying. Soon we'll be changing his Wikipedia page. R.I.P. July 7th. Then the tag titles are on the line. As I mentioned, Chase U, your number one contenders. They will challenge Axiom and Nathan Frazier. And in your main event, it is official now. We have got a four-way matchup for the NXT Championship. Trick Williams is going to have his hands full. But I think Slick Willie, if you will, is going to run out on top at Heatwave. But, dude, this is going to be we just come off an amazing weekend of wrestling. This is going to be an amazing weekend of wrestling too, man. Between Money in the Bank and the Heatwave, I cannot freaking wait. It's going to be an awesome time.
We're so spoiled.
We really are. We really are, man. So much going on in the world of wrestling, and especially in WWE right now, too. A lot of fans brokenhearted after this. Mommy is no longer officially on the market. That's right. Rhea Ripley married Buddy Matthews this past week. Which, you know what? Congratulations to them, man. Seriously. You know, we here at PW60, we wish them well. But all you mommy fans out there, like y'all, just take a chill pill. You didn't have a shot with her anyway, man. I don't even think Dirty Dom really had a shot with her. Have you seen Buddy Matthews? Look at his abs, for God's sakes. That man has got abs that can go on for days.
His abs have abs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? Do you know what? I know one thing. Mommy's always on top.
Yeah. But you know what? Interestingly enough, Mommy wasn't the only one that got married this week. Oh no, actually, Angelo Dawkins was married as well. And look at the guy. Look at his tag team partner, Montez Ford, like taking over the ceremony, man. Pretty cool moment there. So, hey, what's up, Tyler? How are you, good sir? Nonetheless, man, love is in the air in the world of pro wrestling. You love to see it. And oh, we got to brag about this, don't we? We reported on this last weekend. You talk about lucky and spoiled, especially if we're here in Indiana, because holy shit, this is like, I'm still like, my mind's blown. Yeah, that this happened. So yes, the WWE and the Indiana Sports Corp, which kudos to them for recognizing and that, you know, Indiana is a good place to go. Oh, well, thank you, Tyler. We appreciate you for subscribing here to Cole TV, and appreciate you checking us out tonight, my friend. But yeah, this is huge. So we're getting Royal Rumble next year. On down the road, we're going to get a SummerSlam and a WrestleMania. We're also going to get some other Raw, SmackDowns, and other premium live events. And this, I think my understanding is this goes on for the next 7 years, I think is what this is dragged out to. I remember telling you were just flabbergasted. I still think you're like shocked that this happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay. To be honest, I keep looking at that one on the very far right.
Yes.
WrestleMania.
Yes.
In Indiana.
I know.
If there's ever a WrestleMania that I'm going to make it to, it's going to be that one.
You'll be at that one. We'll be at that one. That's a guarantee. But yeah, this is just cool. And here's the thing, man. If you don't know, if you're not from this area, Indianapolis is literally about an hour from Louisville. It's an hour from Cincinnati, 4 hours from Chicago, 5 hours from Detroit. So, I mean, everything is in close proximity. So it just makes sense. We've hosted Super Bowls before. It's an awesome city, man. So I'm excited for this, and we're going to get to kick it off all next year with the Royal Rumble, man, which will be awesome time, man. The Royal Rumble might be my first Royal Rumble in person. Yours too, I believe. Yeah, so it's going to be an awesome time. But kudos to Indiana Sports Coop and the WWE for pulling off this deal. And like I say, I think you're going to be seeing many more of these deals on down the road with other states and whatnot. And it makes sense too because WWE is like red hot. So speaking of WWE, let's talk about they're going on to Netflix next year, as we all know. But it's interesting to note because there is, I guess it's gonna be it's gonna be pretty much raw, literally raw, uncensored. So we can get a little bit of some verbiage, a little bit of language. And thank God we're not going to get it blacked out like every fucking 15 seconds like you do on Friday nights on SmackDown on Fox, right? So, that's pretty cool. I mean, I kind of expect this. Also, too, I believe if I remember Hunter saying, I think Raw is now going to be 2 hours or something like that. Which, hell yeah, I'm for that. Especially my old ass, man. I think 3 hours is a little too much in my opinion, but I can't wait for them to go over on Netflix. I'm excited to see what that's going to be. And they're going to reach so many different households. My understanding too is you're also going to be able to access like the WWE's, like the premium live events. Oh God, I hate saying that word. They're pay-per-views. Anyways, you'll be able to access those on Netflix as well as Friday Night SmackDown and in NXT. So man, it is an exciting time in WWE to say the least. And also, how about this? Coming up this Wednesday, finally, the WrestleMania.
Are you sure?
Well, they got a date, but the WrestleMania 40 documentary will finally be coming out to WWE's YouTube channel. It'll be premiering this Wednesday. I'm excited to see what the hell this is going to be. I was excited to see this, even when they announced it and then they postponed it. So now all the more gives me reason why I'm excited to see what the hell this documentary is going to consist of. But we only got to wait a couple more days, B-roll. So cannot wait to see what happens. And
I know maybe you're in it.
I could be because I was there. But I'll tell you somebody who probably isn't in it or isn't going to be in any more WWE documentaries.
Too soon.
Yeah, I know. We've got it. So officially came out this week that Donovan Dijak has officially, his contract has come to an end in WWE. He's been pretty open about all this and how it's went down and stuff. Pretty much he kind of had a feeling that, I feel he kind of felt like, all right, I'm getting caught up to the main roster after I was just told I was going to feud for the NXT title. I just had this amazing matchup at Stand and Deliver. And also, too, I don't know if you saw this, but it's coming out, and I don't know how accurate this is, but they're saying that he was maybe one of the leaks for, Fightful, on some of this WWE stuff. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I kind of doubt it. I just think creative didn't know what the hell to really do with them, which is crazy because he's such a talented performer, man. He's such an amazing performer, too. So But nonetheless, he is a free agent, and hey, there's no like compete clause or anything. He can go anywhere he wants to. Like, as a matter of fact, he even made an appearance over
Apparently-
the weekend. So
Apparently, he was backstage at Forbidden Door too. Apparently,
rumors have it that he was backstage there. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see where he ends up landing. But you know, somebody who actually this is kind of hard for me to talk about here on the air. But somebody close to our show, you know, we kind of had a little bit of a little bit of an incident, let's put it that way, this past week with HR and stuff, and one of our favorite personalities here on PW60. You know what? Instead of me talking about, let's just go to this clip with our good friend, the Best Scout Machine.
This week, the world-renowned wrestler known as T-Bar, or Dijak, or as I call him, Jack in the Box. Let it be known that his contract was up with the WWE. But unfortunately, he's not the only contract that's coming up. I'm going to follow suit and leave PW60. Here's my letter. Here's the truth. PW60 is full of poo. I'm going to be a big-time guy on Twitch. I had to switch to orange crayon because I ate the green crayon. I tell Xylophone and B-roll the people want more gout. They say, no! I'm leaving and taking Shania Twain with me. Kisses and love, the Best Scout Machine. Yep. Oh man, my first free Monday without being part of PW60. We're gonna have lots of fun, isn't that right, Mini Jack Cartwheel? Yeah, Mini Jack Cartwheel knows what's up. Notice he doesn't have a nose. How does he smell? Awful. Kidding, he smells delightful. Man, what am I gonna do today? It's a Monday. There's nothing to do. I could watch PW60, but I'm not on PW City anymore. I'm gonna go out and be a big-time guy. Oh, what about my friends? What about beautiful XLJ? God, I want to kiss that man on the lips. Even though Pride Month is over. Screw it, guys. I don't know what I was thinking. Guys, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. See? I'm gonna tear the... Yeah! The inside of my mouth still smells... Oh, I can still taste the crayon.
Oh, Best Scout, I am so glad we could. I mean, you're our. We love Best Scout so much here, and like whatever we got to do to keep Best Scout happy and the rest of our family happy here on PW60. Of course, we're gonna do so. Glad that everything could be okay. I guess Dijak just stirring up some emotions in Best Scout or something, stirring up some emotions in Reggie too, as you can hear him in the background. But nonetheless, we love you, Best Scout. Kisses. Let's talk about Dynamite from this past week, as it was the go home show for Forbidden Door. Solid show. Man, oh man, Reggie is really excited to talk about it. I do apologize. This was a good, solid show. We got to see some stars from New Japan on this show as well. I thought it was a great go home show. I was scared. I was scared for Mariah May though, with that segment with her and taking that bottle, which let's call a spade. Whose fault was that? It was Tony Storm's fault, because she was the one that was supposed to take the champagne bottle, not Mina's fault. Mina was just doing what she had to do, right? But yes, solid show nonetheless, man. It's so crazy, and yes, Tyler, you hit it on the head, buddy. Lots of wrestling in this week, damn. This just feels like it was a lifetime ago, doesn't it? That Dynamite took place, but Dynamite was a solid show, man. Like I say, it was a great go home show. We got to see that confrontation with Ospreay and Swerve. Of course, we know where that ended up. But the other big thing I want to point out before we move on here is I want to talk about that moment with MJF coming out to Daniel Garcia, saying he wants a match with him, and then Ospreay kind of coming, stealing the thunder. You mentioned it earlier in the show. I think it's planting the seeds for an Ospreay MJF feud, man. So
I think so, and that is a money maker feud of the year type deal.
mhm.
I have a gripe though.
What's that?
See that beautiful Osprey soccer jersey that says Bruv on the front of it?
Yeah.
It doesn't come with that guy's sizes, and I'm really ticked about it.
Oh, I'm sorry, bruv. You gotta you gotta lay off the beans and the cornbread, bruv. Or whatever.
I gotta
don't know.
hit the weights, bruv.
You gotta hit the weights, bruv. So like I say, great show. And also Jay White advancing in the Owen Hart tournament as well as he defeated Ray Phoenix. Let's talk about Friday Night Rampage, which we keep saying this on the show. Rampage has really turned things around these past couple of months, I think. Honestly, the NBA playoffs, I think, was the best thing for Rampage. I feel like you were just getting ready to say something there, B-roll.
I was going to say, it's been better than Collision.
It really has, hasn't it? How insane is that? Because it feels like Collision has taken a couple steps back, honestly. Of course, I love the matchup with Queen Aminata going up against Sky Blue. Of course, in real life, close personal friends. And then, I don't know, Sky Blue doing some devilish things there in the end. So, also Shingo Takagi went against Dalton Castle, too, which was fun. And then you realize, oh, yeah, AEW doesn't know how to fucking book Dalton Castle. I said what I said, Papa Khan. I know you're listening. Coming. I know you're listening. Fucking book Dalton Castle better. I'm going to get a shirt that says that. Yeah, but you mentioned Collision, especially Collision being kind of like the go-home, the true last go-home show before Forbidden Door. And I mean, that's all right.
The weigh-in was good.
Yeah, the weigh-in was good. I think I really like Deonna Purrazzo and Sheeta, even though I know you're a little bummed Sheeta picking up the win to advance in the Owen Hart tournament.
That's freaking stupid. But if we're going with story, there you go.
But the biggest thing I think that came out of Collision was this. And you and I both know that little video teaser about a certain cowboy. I think a certain cowboy is going to be coming back this Wednesday on Dynamite. And I think he's going to be facing Jeff Jarrett in that Owen Hart tournament. What do you think?
I think when you're right, you're right. And when you're right, you're right.
That's right. And this time we're right. You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point, Tyler. Yeah, I do think Tony Khan I could use to do some type of developmental. I mean, hell, you could even technically say he's doing it kind of sort of now with Ring of Honor, which I know that doesn't make a whole lot of fans happy because well, a lot of us hold Ring of Honor near and dear. But I mean, yeah, something they just have way too many talents on their roster to like. You just got to do something different with them. Me personally, as far as Dalton Castle, I agree, Reggie. They should let him go. Because he could do so much better in like a WWE or a TNA environment, in my opinion. Talking about that Forbidden Door too. We got to talk about this too. Chris Jericho showing up in CMLL to take out Mystico. Cool moment. But I gotta be honest. As far as Forbidden Door, I didn't understand what the hell this had to do with Forbidden Door, if anything. I think this is like something on down the road they're gonna do. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think this is more of like benefiting CMLL, I think. Like,
yeah, I'm guessing Jericho's going to go against Mystico and CMLL at some point.
Yeah, and especially since it was Lionheart Chris Jericho and not this learning tree Chris Jericho that we've come to know and love. And thanks, guys.
Also, speaking of Jericho and other guys from other companies gunning for him, Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki is wanting to challenge Chris Jericho too. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see where I've
heard they want to have a karaoke battle though.
Oh shit! That I would pay good money to see that. In all honesty, so well, let's talk about TNA. Man, it's just the wrestling just keeps going on and on. You can see why this show was supersized tonight, folks. But let's talk about TNA's impact from this past week. Which we got some more qualifiers going into Slammiversary. Steve Macklin won his match. Damn it. He's now in the main event at Slammiversary. Damn
Best thing he ever did was marry Deanna Purrazzo. Moving on.
it. Beat Sammy Callahan, too. You know how much that pisses me off? Anyways, I digress. Also, Nick Nemeth defeated Rich Swann to advance to that Slammiversary main event as well. Of course, the system was all over the show, as they always are every week on Impact, which I know you love that.
Nope.
Nope, he says. What'd you think of Mustafa Ali's State of the Union, man? I mean, looks like we're getting Speedball against Mustafa at Slammiversary, bro. I'm excited for that, dude. That's gonna be a killer matchup, man.
New champ.
You know something else they teased too. Looks like maybe we're gonna be getting Masha Slamovich on down the road against Jordan Grace. Take my money now.
Take my money. Masha Slamovich is so underrated.
So underrated. Yeah, she could be the one. She could be the one to dethrone Jordan Grace of that Knockouts title.
Let's talk about Speedball real quick.
Yeah.
So, rumor has it that his contract may or may not be coming up.
Yeah.
Do you think they give him the belt as like of an incentive to re-sign, or
maybe? I mean, I don't know. I could see it going either way. I mean, it could happen. Yeah, it could be. It could. Oh, that'd be dope. TNA against WWE and NXT and War Games. Fuck yeah, dude. That's another one. Take my money. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't see Speed. I don't know. I don't know what the correct answer is there. I mean, I'm 50-50 on it. I mean, we've talked about on this show, Mustafa Ali is on the run of a lifetime right now. So I wouldn't be shocked if Ali did drop the belt to Speedball, because I mean, Speedball has been there. And you're going to forgive me. Has Speedball ever been X Division champion?
Yes, he won it in the X Division. Okay. He won it at Slammiversary, I believe.
Okay.
1 year.
Okay.
I think.
So, I mean, to me, I feel a little bit different. He'd never won the belt before, but I don't know. Like, I could see it going either way, man. But we're going to talk about this at the tapings this week. We're not going to reveal too much into this, but let's just say there is a lot of NXT involvement in these next TNA tapings. And I got to tell you, I truly think this is leading down the road to some form of a TNA versus NXT pay-per-view or something at some point, man. I think it is bound to happen. As you can see, No Quarter Catch Crew and Charlie Dempsey showing up on TNA. There's
what
some
they
other
were doing
stars.
there, we don't know. They
That's
were just
right. Because remember, this hasn't aired yet, so just gives you all the more incentive to tune in every Thursday night to watch TNA's Impact. I'm just saying. Well, my friend, it's that time in the show. I think we need to spice things up a bit. Let's go to our good friend Spicy Guac with a spicy take.
Okay, so 2025, I'm just letting you know, Spicy Guac, by the way, is going to be the year that we do not hinder Jinder. It is his year to reclaim gold anywhere he steps foot. Also, if he does not reunite with the Bollywood Boys, I will be hella upset.
You're not wrong there, my friend. Well, another promotion that is red hot right now is GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, man. And they had a tremendous weekend this past weekend with in Texas, both their shows, No Sleep and Crime Wave. Tell you what, man, go back, watch the Scylla Fatu and John Wayne Murdoch like death match. Holy shit, dude. Like Scylla Fatu, that is a guy we are going to be seeing very, very soon, I think, in the WWE. Hell, he may even get called up. A lot of people think he's going to get called up to be a part of the Bloodline story. But man, dude, that match was sick, man. It was so damn good. And if you want a good laugh, check out the Danhausen Microman matchup from Crime Wave. That was God, that was such a good shit. But speaking of GCW, GCW is arguably their biggest show of the year, Homecoming, coming up on August 24th in Atlantic City. it has been announced that the GCW World Title will be on the line to declare a unified champion, as Joey Janela will challenge champion Mance Warner and the man who's still claiming he is the GCW champion, our good friend cousin Blake Christian, which he's kind of got a right to claim that, because I mean he never did actually lose the GCW title, so this is going to settle the score. By the way, also too, this weekend Blake Christian actively defending his GCW championship, put it up the line against the big man Sam Stackhouse and was successful. It's going to be an interesting couple of months at GCW to see what's going to happen there, especially as we build to homecoming, man. And we've talked about on this show, man, especially this year, it just feels like GCW is killing it with some of the stories that they're telling right now, man, especially of this like world title scene. So I'm excited for this on the 4th of July coming to you. It's GCW's Backyard Wrestling 6, which will be at an undisclosed location. Folks, if you've never watched these shows, you got to check it out. I mean, yes, it is like current GCW talent, but they have like different gimmicks, like, specific. If anybody's familiar with the TNA putting on those like retro 80s wrestling shows like in November every year, that's what this is kind of the equivalent to. It's just going to be in somebody's random backyard, and it is going to be an awesome show, and it's coming up to you on the 4th of July. This is a tradition I truly love, man, and I cannot wait to see it this week. But speaking in our backyard, let's talk about it. Our good friend Cole Radrick present the Smitty, coming to you live Friday, August 23rd in beautiful Spencer, Indiana. The Smitty is going to be a unique experience unlike any other. It is a one-night tournament, winner take all. And I mean, man, this lineup of talent, it's like a who's who of who's in it, man. We got Billy Starks. I mean, your current Ring of Honor Women's TV Champion's going to be in it. Deathmatch legend Hoodfoot's going to be in this. You got John Wayne Murdoch's going to be in this tournament. Just to name some few, man. And you damn sure know Cole TV is going to be there in Spencer, Indiana on Friday, August 23rd for the Schmitty. But stay tuned the coming weeks here on PW60, as we'll be giving you a lot more information on the Smitty. Cannot wait, bro. I'm excited, man. Cannot wait for this awesome tournament. And oh man, speaking of can't wait, this is exciting too. Shayna Baszler is going to be returning to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 11 in Brooklyn, coming up here on July the 28th. So once again, this working relationship between apparently the WWE and GCW, man, you love to see it. You love to see so much going on in the world of independent pro wrestling. We talk about every week here on PW60. And that being said, I think it's time we go to our good friend, one Michael J. Duplessis, with an indie report, where you can find out some of the amazing indie shows going on all across the United States.
Yo, it's your boy Michael. I'm here with another independent wrestling report. First off, we have Dominant Championship Wrestling presents Fight for Glory 2, August 10th at 601 West Noble Street in Selma, North Carolina. Not much information on this event yet, but DominantChampionshipWrestling.com for tickets and info. Secondly, we have Alpha Wrestling Association. Again, August 10th at the Greenwood Community Center, 709 Avenue I in Greenwood, Mississippi, 38930. Again, Alpha Wrestling Association on all social media platforms for more information on that. Lastly, we have Prestige Wrestling presents the Cascadia Wrestling Cup, August 23rd and 24th at the Clever Armory at 10,000 Northeast 33rd Drive in Portland, Oregon 97211. PrestigeWrestling.net for all information on that.
Well, there you have it. Just some of the amazing shows you can check out there all across the U.S. Well, this was an interesting story that has come out. Natalya has pretty much removed anything WWE related to her socials we know her contract's coming up. So I think Natalya is leaving the WWE after she's been there for God, what, like over 15 years? Are you a little surprised with this? Not surprised? Excited?
Okay, so it's one of those things where it does surprise me a little bit, but
it doesn't me.
What is there left for her to do in the WWE?
You just answered it. That's why it doesn't surprise me, because there's really nothing else left for her. There's so much she could be doing out there. And I'm excited to see. Like, I think she'll go TNA. I think she'll work Japan. Like, I cannot wait to see what is in store for Natalya. She is just such an amazing performer.
I think ultimately it's exciting, honestly, and just wrestling in general, for the talent to be able to kind of go out on their terms. Like,
yeah, it's pretty cool. Once again, we say it all the time here, man. It's a great time to be in professional wrestling, man. Also, we found out, I guess, this Caesar Sikoa thing that WWE trademarked, that was actually going to potentially be Jacob Fatu's name. Thank God they didn't do that. Whew. You know, years ago in the that old fucker era, you know, that probably could have happened. But, you know, nonetheless, Jacob Fatu's Jacob Fatu. That's the end of that. Let's talk about this for a minute. Matt Camp, former host of The Bump, got a little candid about his release from the WWE. I don't think he was just stating the obvious. Like, WWE, like any company, tries to spin it like we're a family, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. It's all about making money at the end of the day. So I think there's a lot of truth. I didn't think he was really coming across as too bitter to me. Now, I know some fans can kind of get into it like, ooh, spill more of the tea, but I don't know, man. To me, it felt like he was just being straight up honest, because that's the reality of the situation. WWE is a business, so it is what it is. So what can you do? This warmed my heart, man. Dax Harwood getting surprised on his birthday by none other than the legend himself, Bret the Hitman Hart, just showing up. Look at Dax's face, man. Dax is like all of us Bret Hart fans, man. Just the inner child in him is just like, I love this so much. It's such a cool moment, man. Like, and hey, the guy deserves it, because, I mean, we love Dax Harwood to death, man. He's such a good dude. Also, this was interesting. Shinsuke Nakamura actually worked the corner of at UFC 303. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm not in the fighting game. I forget the name of the fighter. It was like Ray something or other, I believe. A good friend of his, but nonetheless, pretty cool seeing he picked up the win here. Not Shinsuke, but the gentleman he was representing. So just random, man. Just completely random seeing Shinsuke Nakamura in a UFC. But hey, you know what? Nakamura does have a mixed martial arts record. I'm just saying. But
speaking of random,
thank you. Let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week.
Hello, there's Harry the Fake Snake. If you follow me on TikTok, you know all about him. You might have seen him a few times here on the P to the Dove to the 60. Time for my random moment of the week. No hat. How appropriate with the 4th of July. America, red, white, and blue, patriotic. Kind of like my eyes. Look at that. Red, white, and blue, if you can see it. Ooh. He's like, coming in close, looking at my eyes. It's kind of scary. Now I scared everybody away, but if you're still here, time for my random moment of the week. Of course, last week, taking a look at Bret the Hitman Hart and what would have happened if his career-ending injury in the match with Goldberg in WCW never took place, how much longer he would have been around. And the week before that, we talked about the Montreal Screwjob. Now, the other factor inside the ring in that match was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. So I want to back up to a couple of questions about him over the next couple of weeks. For this week, I want to look at one of the most famous tag team splits that ever did take place. And that, of course, being the Rockers. And the barbershop segment, Bobby Heenan on commentary, absolute perfection. Oh, Jannetty trying to jump through the window to save himself, or however he said it exactly. I don't remember the exact quote, but the brain, amazing on commentary, of course. And it's been referred to ever since then many times when you have tag team splits. Who's the Shawn? Who's the Marty? You know, who's the superior singles person? Who's the not so much, being more like the Marty, as they say. So let's take a look at that moment. And what if the Rockers did not split up in 1992? What if they would have stayed on as a full-time tag team for the rest of their career? Or let's say they had a mutual departing much later on, let's say 95, 96, 97, something like that. What would the trajectory of their tag team and individual careers have been like if the Rockers did not split in 1992? So, have fun with that one. Comment below. Let me know what you think. And in advance, happy 4th of July.
Oh, Brian, we love you, buddy. Always has leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. And like Brian says, it is the 4th of July, and as we all know, 4th of July week has officially begun here tonight on Cold TV, but here's a little sneak peek of what you kind of in store all this week here on Cold TV.
It's 4th of July week on Cold TV. Celebrate Independence Day with all the amazing content coming your way this week on Cold TV, such as brand new episodes of Pro Wrestling 60, The Hunt, and a very special Learning the Ropes live on the 4th of July with a special start time of noon Eastern, where they'll be talking about the history of the Great American Bash. But wait, there's more! Also this week on Cold TV, we have a very special Emerge Wrestling vlog and our Money in the Bank prediction show. All this and so much more coming to you this week on Cold TV. And don't forget, it all kicks off Monday, July 1st with a special 90-minute supersized episode of Pro Wrestling 60 with a special start time of 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. So let freedom ring and enjoy 4th of July this week on Cold TV.
That's right, and you're seeing the kickoff here tonight with Pro Wrestling 60. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have a brand new episode of The Hunt, followed up by our special Emerge Wrestling vlog. And Thursday, you saw it, special noon Eastern start time for our special Learning the Ropes on the 4th of July. And what better topic to talk about than the Great American Bash? And we're going to wind it up with our Money in the Bank prediction show. All that coming to you this week on Cold TV. Also, we got to acknowledge our fellow wrestling content creators who we all know and love here. And this week, our Ruby Ringside Content Creator of the Week is none other than Apron Bump. You can catch them on TikTok, on all other social platforms. They have an awesome podcast. I love their TikTok shorts, man. They are eye-catching. They did recently a thing where it was like, what would happen if like true King of the Ring winners went against like the WWE champions of the year they won and stuff. They got some really amazing content. You should definitely go check them out. Apron Bump is our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator of the Week this week here on PW60. Well, we also find out it's official. Grand Slam is returning to the Arthur Ashe Stadium. It will take place here at the end of September, a tradition in AEW which will continue on. And I love these shows, man. They're always fun to watch, man. It's always a fun environment and stuff to see. So excited to see another Grand Slam coming your way here in just a couple of months. It's crazy to think. Now, this was some sad news. You may have noted that Pat McAfee was not on Monday Night Raw this past week. Well, we come to find out it wasn't anything to do with the storyline with the Wyatt Six or anything. Actually, his father-in-law tragically passed away. So we here at PW60 want to wish Pat and his family our deepest condolences. You hate to hear that. And our last story this week, it is a sad one. We lost another wrestling great this past week as the father of Roman Reigns, the great Sika Anoa'i, passed away this past week. Well, of course, part of the world famous Wild Samoans tag team. It's crazy to me to think, like, if you think about the trajectory and stuff, like Wild Samoans is really like what put the Anoa'i family on the map. So to see one of these like patriarchs go, man, you hate to see it, but man, how awesome was it though? He got to see what his son did and like what everybody else in his family did thereafter, knowing the legacy that they really left behind. So, but the wrestling world is going to be tremendously missed. The late great Sika Anoa'i, and we here at PW60, we want to wish the Anoa'i family our deepest condolences. But I mean, like I say, his legacy will live on forever in the world of pro wrestling. Well, my friends, somehow we have done it again. We've covered, I think that was pretty much everything that happened this past week in wrestling. We got so much to come, and you got Monday Night Raw, which is just starting. We got going into Money in the Bank weekend. We got NXT Heatwave. So much more. Well, we'll talk about all next week here on Pro Wrestling 60. And like we say, don't forget to tune in all this week for all the amazing content coming to you here on Cole TV. Till next week, I'm XLJ the OG, joined by my partner in crime, Mr. B-Roll. We'll see you on another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. Everybody have a great 4th of July week. Bye.